I've been in New Orleans.
What is popping, guys, and welcome back to another tattoo time lapse. I almost said tattoo tips. Yep, I'm bringing you another tattoo time lapse. This one's gonna work a little bit different. I'm just gonna speak a little bit. Usually I'll put in some like crispy B-roll or something, but I'm just gonna like speak over this one a little bit more than I have in the rest, just because the time lapse that you're about to see is a hand tattoo, and there's a few little like nuances that you need to do when it comes to tattooing hands, because hands are notorious for dropping out. But guys, before we start, as usual, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to like this video. Likes really do help on YouTube channels. Also comments. Drop comments down in there. I don't care if it's a comment that just makes absolutely no sense. I don't care if it's a comment that is absolutely like ripping into me as an artist or as a content creator. Like, just post something down there, because again, it helps. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notifications button to get notified every time I upload a new video. Anyway, that intro was long enough, and I hate long ass intros, so let's get straight into it. Okay, first off, guys, we are getting the skin prepped for the stencil. To prep the skin, all I do is I use alcohol. That alcohol then cleans the skin, but it also dries the skin out, so it removes any grease and stuff. Now again, on every tattoo I do this, I tend to lay my stencil down on skin and mark up to where I need it to be, so when I do put the stencil solution on, I know exactly where to place it back down, and it'd be in the position of where it was before.
It's all or nothing.
So when it comes to stencil solutions, I was a big Electrum user for years and years and years, but I have suddenly discovered Anchored. Now Anchored is probably by far the best stencil solution that I have ever used. It is the only stencil solution that I've used where when I am pulling my stencil off skin, it's practically glued on, and I have to really, you know, pull out. It's like taking Dermalize off or the second skin stuff. Like, it's incredible. This stencil solution is incredible. So getting the stencil in the hand, as you can see, it's a little bit fiddly. It doesn't wrap too much around. What I could have done, which I forgot to do looking at this now, is put in some cuts around the edges just to, break the paper so it folds easier. But in this occasion, we didn't really need it. It went on the left side and on the right side just as good as I needed it to be. Now, I had not done any previous tattoos on this customer, but what the customer did have was like lines going through her entire piece. So what I knew I needed to do was carry on those lines throughout this hand tattoo, just so the consistency of the sleeve runs into the hand tattoo. I always recommend doing this where possible. A lot of artists tend to just do their piece and their piece only, and it doesn't really blend into the existing tattoo as well as it could. So I always try to do this where I can. Personally, for me, I wouldn't have had these in the tattoo, but again, consistency, they needed to be there. Okay, and we are off to the races. Now, with any tattoo that I do, any single tattoo, I always start by putting some black down. Black gives you a good contrast in the tattoo to work off for the rest of your tones. So if you're struggling on a tone, you're struggling to see a tone, you can always match it against that black, and it's a lot easier. So I always start with black. Now, like I said, there's a few things that needs to be done when it comes to doing hand tattoos. One of the main things that I do when it comes to tattooing hands is I completely scrap my light tone. I do not use a light tone on hand. Now, hands are notorious for dropping out. Generally, you have a 50-50 chance when it comes to tattooing a hand of whether it's going to stick or whether it's going to fall out. And that is why I get rid of that light tone. I know that that light tone is probably going to drop out. And if any of the tattoo does drop out, I know that the darker tones are going to stick around a lot more than any lighter tone. So I completely get rid of my 2 and my 4. And I tell a lie. I tell a lie. Don't get rid of 2 and 4. What the fuck? I get rid of my 2 and I keep my 4. So it's 4, 6, 8, 10 black. By the way, the needles I was using for this were a 7 curved mag bug pin, a 5 round shader, and a 3 round liner. And I am using a Bishop one, and I am rocking it at 8.5 volts. As you can see, guys, every tattoo I do is pretty much always the same technique, that back and forth motion. Generally, I will slow it down or speed it up depending on where I'm tattooing and depending on the voltage that I'm using. With a Bishop one, I could be rocking anything from an 8 to a 9.5 when it comes to shading, and if I'm doing any lines, any like fat lines, probably 9 round shaders and up, then I am rocking it at 10.5. Now, like I said, hands are a 50-50 as to whether they're going to fall out or whether they're going to stick. Maybe not so much when it comes to big bold lines and traditional, you know, packing colour and all that stuff, but when it comes to black and grey, hands are definitely a 50-50. Now, if anything is going to drop out, it is going to be here over the knuckle area. Generally, female hands are a lot softer, so they tend to stick a lot better over the knuckle area. But with males typically doing labouring jobs and using their hands a lot, their hands start to get rough, their skin starts to get damaged, and, you know, the knuckle area just doesn't hold on a male's hand as well as it does on a female. So if it is going to fall out, it is going to be over this area for sure. So just make sure you take extra care on the knuckle area. Really get it in there. Use darker tones around this area also. Anyway, guys, that is me for today. I hope you've learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, subscribe, notifications, like, comment, all that stuff. And I shall see you all in the next video. Before I go, make sure you watch the whole video. Please watch this whole video. Even if you just have it on in the background, just watch it all for us. Don't just get the information that you need and then turn it off, because that doesn't help me. And I'm helping you, so you help me. Anyway, guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.